Good afternoon, good morning, good night, or good evening, depending when you're watching. This is Julio, Eddie, and Bob.
How you doing?
You noticed what I did different today?
Yeah, you went to me. You went left
Yeah,
first.
I always
You
go
go
Julio,
right.
Bob, and
I know.
Eddie.
I know.
Another
Eddie,
session.
Bob.
It's great to have you.
Eddie,
Thanks for
Bob.
joining us.
Live studio audience is here.
A lot of
Live
things.
studio
And
We
got a live studio on
back.
It's
There are other
kinda
people
neat.
are out in the bathroom right now or something.
well,
Yeah.
we've got a huge live studio
Yeah,
on
I know.
us today.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, a lot of things happening in baseball. We got the College World Series getting ready to start on Saturday.
Yep. Yep.
8 teams, kind of interesting. Let's talk college baseball first, and then we can talk about the draft and the major leagues later on. But
Okay.
what do you think?
I would love to think that Florida has a really good chance. And with their pitching, they certainly are going to have a chance. But the way they hit over the weekend, you get 10 hits and 3 runs. You can't. They're just still not hitting enough for me to think they're going to win. I really do believe that Oregon State.
Oregon State's lost 4 games this year. I like that other side of the division, whoever comes out between Oregon State and LSU. I just think LSU right now is playing real
play
good.
good.
But you know what? I think as far as what you're saying about the Gators, you're right, but all they've got to do is beat one of those teams 2 out of 3 because that little side of the division, those 4, okay, they just played the team, one of the top 3 offensive teams in the country.
Sure.
The team with that hit the most home runs.
And they hit a lot.
They won 2,
And they hit a bunch of bombs here.
Yep.
and they lost. The one they did lose, they lost in extra innings.
Sure, and they won the one in extra innings. They won one in extra innings, lost one in extra innings, and then won one by shutting them out. With a guy that probably no one, including O'Sullivan,
Expected,
expected that from Dyson.
but he got it.
He got it. He did, and that's what I say. You can.
Well, I'll tell you what,
If you're
when
there, you have a shot to win.
Right.
If you're not there, you don't.
And the 2 guys that were supposed to be studs were studs. The only
Yeah, but
thing
the
was
weather was more of a stud.
right. I mean, you think both games they won. If you think about it, Faedo and Brady Singer both pitched in, and neither got a decision.
Nope.
And they both pitched.
Yeah, and Singer pitched in the game they lost.
No.
Didn't he?
No, that was Kowar's game. No, Singer pitched in game 1 because Faedo started it.
Yeah, that's right.
Went into rain delay. Singer came in.
That's
Then Byrne came in.
Yep.
Byrne pitched in the second game.
Yeah.
And then in the second game, correct. And then the third game was started by Singer
Singer.
and closed by Faedo.
Yeah.
You know, but it was interesting. They both pitched and got no decisions.
I think that's a
and
weird.
neither gave up a run.
It's a weird year. I mean, it was a weird super regional to me. I mean, everything about the super regionals felt wacky this year. I mean, with the fact of a lot of the national seeds got knocked out.
Not as many, believe it or not. 1 of the top 8 made it to Omaha last
Exactly.
year.
Wow.
The Gators. This year, 4 did.
Right. But I mean, when you got to the regionals, it was like.
You had some upsets, which you always do.
And then
I
you
mean,
had
in baseball,
then you had a couple in super regionals, and you're looking at that going, my goodness, how in the world is Sam Houston State playing at FSU?
But the top seeded one. The super regionals, pretty much, if you think about it, came out to form.
With the exception of out west with Fresno State,
Fullerton.
Cal State
Fullerton
right, Cal
beat
State.
Long Beach State. That was, but
Yeah.
but out west, Oregon State won.
Yeah, they did and beat Vandy, and I think it's going to be an interesting World Series. Again, I wish they would change the park. I know they did. They made it, and they made a new park.
See, but again, you want to know who that plays into?
It plays in the Gators pitching somewhat, but it also you got to hit,
Right.
and the Gators can't
You
hit.
need a timely hit.
You need more than a timely hit. You need several timely hits to score out there.
And the hottest guy, and I'll tell you, bringing up the hottest guy, the run producer, hit 2 home runs in the series, one really big one that made a 1-0 game, a 3-0 game, and the way Dyson was pitching, it was over after that. 2 years ago, as a freshman, projected, I remember Baseball America, did a projection of the 2017 draft, and this was back, and they had J.J. Schwartz going #1 overall.
Sure, he had a tremendous freshman season.
Yeah, I remember.
And now he goes in the 39th
39th
round.
round.
He was projected on the boards, the MLB board. He was the highest available pick. Okay.
After the 4th round,
He was projected at number 71, and he wound up going 950.
1,000 and something.
Was it?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and why? And I've got my theories, but just what
I have no
happened?
idea. I mean, other than his hitting,
And
has not
I'll give
been-
you.
Well, here's one thing that I think has happened to him. He hired Scott Boras, or he's in contact with Scott Boras, however you can do that. So he let everybody know that Scott Boras was going to represent him if he came out. Second thing that happened is he showed he can't hit a slider and was refused to change all year long. And so when if you're projecting him, where are you going to project his hitting? Well, he's going to have that hole in his swing unless somebody works hard to
And
fix it.
they'll pick it apart.
Yep.
And in the big leagues, if they can hit that spot every time and see you later, they can go throw you 3 sliders on the black and you just take a seat every time. And the third thing I think is he was the 3rd best catcher on his college team.
That to me, that was, as a freshman, he platooned with Rivera. One
Right.
would DH and one would catch, and the next game they flip-flopped, and they did it the whole season, and it worked, and he hit, and he was not exposed. This year, and it's interesting, I think the injury to Rivera hurt J.J. Schwartz the most.
Yeah, maybe.
Because then Kolozvari came in and caught more games than Schwartz did, and Kolozvari made himself a 7th-round pick because of it.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's got to be something else, though. I think there's got to be something else. There's something.
56 strikeouts
Yeah, well, so what? 56 strikeouts
in
and
college.
16 home runs in college.
That's a strikeout a game.
16 home runs in college. The college leader.
That was
21.
2 years ago. He's got 12.
Okay, he's got 12 this year. But
And 5 of them, 6 of them have been in the last 2 weeks.
Right.
I mean, it wasn't when you're putting this together 2 weeks ago. He still wasn't the player.
no, but I still think there's something that the scouts have picked up, either about his work habits, something about him personally that they have,
And it got around.
and it's gotten around. And I'll tell you who got a steal though. The Rays got a steal.
Oh, if he pans out.
If he pans out, the Rays have a steal.
But then you go, if you're him, do you even sign?
I don't sign, but if I come back and have a great year next year, and the team does it, if I'm his agent, I'm going to the Rays saying, okay,
Well, the minute he steps in school, the Rays no longer have his rights. He's back in the draft. That rule is no.
that rule's no longer the
No.
365 rule's
the,
no more.
The Larry Bird rule,
Oh, okay,
although different sport.
yeah. So in that case,
Yeah,
then
no.
yeah. I mean, it
I
comes
think
back and
I
goes back
think
to-
I think he's back.
Oh, I think so. I mean, he's not going to get any money. I mean, what would the signing bonus be for a 39th pick? $500?
Yeah, and then 7 rounds earlier, and we were going to talk about this, and I actually tried to get him, and we almost had a guest here who got drafted yesterday, but and hopefully we'll get him sometime this summer. But 7 rounds before, in the 32nd round, Buchholz High School's Hunter Ruth goes to the Chicago Cubs, and
He's
I'll
got
tell
it.
you what,
He's coming to school.
he'll come to school.
Yeah.
But you know what? To have watched the kid grow up from the time he was that big, to have coached him and everything, and have him drafted in. I mean, so proud of the kid. And I know you're probably watching like half of America here, Hunter. But I mean, amazing. The world champion. That's hard to say too. The world champion Chicago Cubs. But to be selected.
Maybe back to back before it's over with. You never
To
know.
be
So,
selected by the Chicago Cubs, I don't care what round it was, with the injury and everything like that, and that's what we were talking about. If Hunter's projected about in the 50-ish range, middle of the 2nd round, and all of a sudden he has the Tommy John surgery, and I was wondering, and this is, I would not doubt if he made it known he was going to school, because if not, I still think a kid that throws 95, 96 coming off Tommy John surgery, you want to watch. You want to watch the health, you want to watch the recovery, and then all of a sudden you take a kid like that in the 7th, 8th, 9th round. Okay, what's his face from South Carolina?
Yeah.
What, Clark?
I don't remember.
Oh, you don't have the first round here. You have,
No.
but
No.
but pitched into April, and then he's done, and he was projected, middle whatever, and got taken 13th overall. Clark Schmidt, from South
I
Carolina.
don't think Tommy John injury is as big a deal, certainly anymore as it used to be. The track record of guys coming back.
That's
is
why
so
it would
strong.
not have shocked me if Hunter had been taken in the 9th, 10th, 11th round, because someone
Why not
said
take a flyer on him? Why not 11th round, 10th round?
that exactly
Where you-
because all of a sudden you've got a
got
guy
a steal.
that's going to be throwing 100 after the Tommy John,
Right.
unless he made it known that he wasn't going to sign.
And unless he was made it known he was going to be a top 5 pick, or he wasn't going to top 5 rounds, or he wasn't going to sign. Yeah, that could have been it. But I still think at some point you say, all right, let's just take a shot. I mean, out of all those rounds, you got 39 players, 39 rounds. Out
Well,
of
the
30
Cubs did. The Cubs took a shot, and
Right,
it was
at 32. But I'm talking
right.
about why
At
not take
32.
one-
You're not going to sign.
No, you're not. Why not take a shot where you okay, we're going to sign you on the 10th, and if you make it to Double-A by this time, we'll bump you to a top 5 pick. We'll give you a salary bump or a bonus bump or something. I mean, you could have structured a contract that way and
I don't know.
protect
But it was
yourself.
interesting. But he got drafted, and that was amazing. That was amazing.
And 3 high school players taken for the first time? 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3 since 1990.
That shows you the development of college baseball.
Well, it shows you how many of those studs. It shows you how well the scouting process is in high school now, and not because of
Well,
the
before
3 guys.
before 1990, college baseball wasn't what it is today.
Correct.
No.
But the reason high school went 1, 2, 3 is because they're scouting and looking at those kids.
Sure.
But number 2 is those college kids, those 21-year-old guys coming out of college, J.J. Schwartz and whatever, the ones that are the real studs were signed 3 years ago. They're the Bryce Harpers and the
Yeah,
True.
certainly that, I think that plays into it, but I also think you got to, it's an unusual year. I mean, the first time since 1990, and we had talked about the Green kid, right? Isn't that his name?
Yeah.
Out in California.
who they passed on.
They
You
passed
see
on
that?
number 1 to make
And-
number 2. So I think there's something to be said about that with all the we downplay travel ball a lot, but all the tournaments that are played, the national tournaments,
Oh, the exposure.
the exposure,
Well-
for pro teams, they can send one scout to that and see 60 players.
Well, and I was sitting there counting and looking and everything like that. And my son, and it's amazing, where you sit there, people, the football draft, and they're players we know, and you see them on TV, and in baseball, nobody. And there's a thing of knowing because you've watched them on TV and actually knowing the kids. And it was amazing. There was something like 17 FTB kids taken in the top 10 rounds throughout. I mean, some are in Alex Valletta, who played for FTB 5 years ago or 4 years ago, that kind of thing. So not all of them right now.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, there were 6 guys that were my son's teammates that are now been 6.
That's a lot.
That's amazing. And I'm sitting,
That's a pretty good team.
Yep.
Oh,
I think I could coach that team.
Yep.
I could roll the balls out and pick a lineup for that team. If 6 guys that are going on that. Well, we got about 40 seconds left in this segment.
but it's fun. College baseball. Who you got, real quick, in the College World Series?
My heart wants the Gators to win, but my head still is going to say Oregon State
Against in the other side.
against Florida. I think they'll end up beating them.
I think it's going to be SEC final. That's why I really
who
think
wins
LSU.
it?
Well, he's got the blue shirt on, so that's what it's like. LSU's going to win, I think.
I'm with you. Believe it or not, I'm right on it. I think LSU will upset Oregon State, and the Gators will make it through their side of the bracket, and LSU will beat them.
Wow. I think if LSU's there, we beat them. But
Hope
We'll
so.
see- we'll
That'd be
see.
awesome.
Beat them 2 out of 3
out of three,
once,
and-
but then they beat us in the.
yeah,
be
we'll beat
awesome.
them. We'll beat them 2 out of 3. Hey, we'll be right back.
See you.
Take care.